Hey, so welcome to my first YouTube channel. This is my first video and my first channel, and I just wanted to share my experience in buying my first car with you guys. I hope you guys enjoy. So I just graduated college in May, and I bought my first car in April. And before I bought it, I was doing a lot of research, asking friends what to do, way back in December. And I was really just trying to figure out if I wanted to buy a new used car or maybe even lease. And after deciding what I wanted to do was really buy a used car, I still had a lot of research to do. I went on websites like TrueCar, Auto Trader, Car Gurus to really try to find the best deal. You know, we all talk about that hidden gem. We all want the car with low miles, new but a used car. And you know, I was able to find one actually after 3 months of looking around in March when it was spring break. It was a 2017 Toyota Corolla, and you know, those things just never die. They just keep going and going. I actually have a friend who had a Toyota go for 500,000 miles, which is insane. So I was getting ready to buy this car, the Toyota, but it was right before the coronavirus pandemic started getting really bad, and my parents told me to hold off. And you know, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm Asian, and having Asian parents, when they tell you something, you don't really have a choice. If you know, you know. I thought that was kind of funny. Anyways, after they told me to hold off on buying it, I just started seeing these crazy car deals come out, 84 months, 0% interest with thousands off MSRP. So I actually started looking into new cars. I was thinking maybe buying a used car isn't the best option now. Maybe I might consider buying a new car with all these deals and incentives coming out. So with all these new cars out there, I was able to narrow my search down with 3 main points. And the first one was a high resale value. This was really important to me because I just graduated college. I can't really afford to just, you know, pay for the depreciation. That's not really practical or reasonable at my age. I really could use something like a Ford Mustang, you know, but I don't think I can afford one. So high resale value was one of the top priorities for me. And that's when the Subaru Outback really caught my eye. It's one of the cars with the higher resale values, and I didn't think I would be losing that much money buying a new car if it didn't have a high depreciation rate. The second point I really needed was practicality. I love winter sports. I just need to be able to drive my car through the snow, through the rain, without worrying about any, you know, traction, slipping, or possibility of accidents. And that's when the Subaru all-wheel drive system really looked attractive to me. You know, they have one of the best all-wheel drive systems in the market, and really good fuel economy for the size the car is. So this is another positive where the Subaru Outback kind of stood out. So the last but not least point was reliability. And although the Subarus don't have reliability like Toyotas, they still have above average reliability, and it's pretty good. It's not anything nowhere near as bad as a Dodge or Ford. So that was another check off the box for me that really convinced me in buying a Subaru. Alright, so after I decided I was going to buy the Subaru Outback, which had an MSRP of $31,000, I was able to negotiate it down to $25,000 with an out-the-door price of $27,000 with taxes, titles, and registration, all those documentation fees in as well. And this was a really good deal considering I was able to also get the 63 months 0% interest on top of this discount as well. And this was my first time even negotiating or even going to a dealership. So I was really happy with the results, and from my experiences I really took away 3 main points, and I love to share that with you guys. The first one is research. Really do your research. You know, if you're going in to buy a used car, go and find the true value of the car on sites like Edmunds or TrueCar. You know, just don't go in there and go off the price the dealer is posting. And that just gives you more negotiating power if you know what the car is actually worth. And if you have a trade-in, go get that appraised and figure out what it's worth. So you're not just going into a dealer and taking their word for it, and you actually have, hey look, I was given this quote appraisal from CarMax. You can show them the sheet. CarMax gives you an appraisal sheet for trade-ins. Show them that and be like, hey, like I could go to CarMax right now and get this much. Can you guys match that or beat it? And that just gives you more negotiating power. So do your research. For me, my research was a little different. I was buying a new car, so a lot of my research consisted of watching YouTube, reading blogs, really reading up on my car, knowing the pros and cons, and knowing if I wanted to buy it. I also leveraged 3 dealerships in terms of trying to figure out the market profit margins of the Subaru Outback, just to make sure and know where I could probably get away with more discounts or not. And you know, this is really where I think the saying comes in that knowledge is power. It sounds really cliche, but I think it couldn't be more true when you're going into a dealership trying to find the best price. The second takeaway is focus on car price, not the car payment. And what I mean by this is a lot of times when you go into dealerships, they'll be like, hey, yeah, like we can match your $400 monthly payment easy, no problem. But what they don't tell you is they change the interest rates, the loan length. They might add like documentation fees of $500, cleaning fees. And you don't want to be ripped off like that. So look at the car principal value that they're charging you, and look at the out-the-door price. And the out-the-door price is everything included, like taxes, titles, registration, documentation fees. It's the amount of money you're going to be getting financed. And also look at the interest rates and the loan length. It's easy to run down the payment numbers when you're increasing the loan length. And with high interest rates, that's not necessarily what you want, because you're just going to be paying to make more money. And we don't want that. So the third key point is always be willing to walk away from a deal. This is another common saying, but it couldn't be more true. You know, like when you walk into a dealer, they know how desperate you might be, and you can't really hide it. But if you go in with this sense of freedom, you don't have this sense of urgency. It really gives you a sense of confidence and ability to negotiate. It's one of the strongest positions when you just walk away from a deal. And don't ever feel like you're being backed down where there is that only one car, you know? A lot of times when you go to a dealership and you see that car that you really like, you're like, oh man, I won't be able to find that car, this deal again. And the psychological effects of that really start compounding when you're at the dealership. And don't let that get to you. You know, have that freedom to be able to back away, take a step back and just kind of breathe and think about how you could also get another better deal maybe, you know, like it doesn't need to be at this dealership. You just always keep that in mind. So now I'm going to be talking more about my experiences and the story, how I learned these 3 takeaways. So I started off by emailing 3 Subaru dealers closest to me, and after I reached out to them, I asked for a 10% discount off the MSRP, which I thought was reasonable. And they all agreed, but then after they gave me the 10%, I asked for a 15% discount, to which only one of them agreed, and the 2 other dealers said they couldn't match that. And I didn't do this intentionally. It was a crazy time. Coronavirus was really getting out of hand, and I also had school going on, so I just kind of forgot about it, didn't reach out, didn't kind of contact any more dealers for 2 weeks. And then the second week I got a reply from the dealer saying that they could do 17%. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? You could do 17%? You said no to 15%? But the condition was that I had to come in and sign before the end of the month. You know, like the common dealership tactic. So I emailed the other dealer who initially offered me 15%, saying, hey, like this dealer is now offering me 17%. Can you match that or go 18%? And that dealer said, no, I can't do it. So I really didn't do this intentionally. I just left it on the back burner for another week, started focusing more on school. And then the dealer who originally said no offered me 18% off the MSRP, to which I agreed to. But I told them that I wanted to submit a online loan application, which you should always do before you go into a dealer. Try to get it like a pre-approval from a bank or something, you know, that also helps you negotiate the price down. And for me, it consisted of submitting an online credit application to make sure I was able to get the 63 month 0% interest loan before even going into the dealer. And after they said that that was approved, I went into the dealership, and it was pretty smooth from there, no problems. and I signed, and that was my experience in buying my car for $27,000, 0%, 63 months. And I do realize that my situation was unique in that I bought my first car when the coronavirus was kind of getting out of hand, and I do feel really lucky to have an opportunity in such an unfortunate time. And I do realize also that it is probably unreasonable to expect a 18% off MSRP every time, or just on a new car, because that is a really good discount. But I do think that it is reasonable to go for a 15% discount. And I hope by sharing my story, you guys can relate to me and be more confident. There is no discount that is too discounted, if that makes sense. So if you can get more, go for it. And don't ever settle for the dealer's words. Keep pushing, keep negotiating. And thanks for listening, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching my first YouTube video. It's crazy, I hope I can keep making more content for you guys. And hopefully we'll get a next one soon. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate you.